Hello, and welcome to Fireside Chats with Wisdom Keepers, Crones, and Elders. I'm Teri Connolly, and I have with me tonight Sammy Kolinski, and we are going to have a little chat about discernment, in particular intuition. So please welcome Sammy to this, and let's just begin. Let's just start this.
All right.
What are your thoughts about discernment?
I was thinking about the choice word of discernment, and it's so close to the concept of intuition. And so I looked up the exact definition of discernment, and it's to perceive what is truthful and most important.
Nice.
That's what we're looking for with intuition, right? And how we're seeking all that out.
Right, exactly. And understanding that intuition is like this massive tool that we just don't, it's, I don't want to say bred out of us, but it's been pushed out of us. It's not acknowledged. It's not considered valuable, except for the moment when you hear my mother's intuition, and then you're like, okay, I better pay attention. But otherwise, we're not, encouraged to develop it. And so it's like, it is like the best tool. And here we are talking about discernment, and we've got an ace in the hole with intuition.
Yeah. It's almost like intuition is so powerful, and it's so vast and accurate. And I would love to see, as I've gotten older and can look back on, after over 50 years here, making decisions based on intuition, that I can vouch for the fact that they're spot on, and I would love to see younger people, younger women trusting themselves and trusting their intuition, because it does pay out. It can lead to incredible success and happiness, like joy. Yeah. Joy and like a enriched living. So we're not living just in this plain world of, just what Costco and shopping and the news media, and actually are partaking and interacting with the unseen world. And it's so how enriching it is. I've heard the analogy of intuition being more right-minded, and that's the creative side, and then the left side is more analytical. And maybe I always like the analogy that the analytical mind is the captain, and the intuition is the admiral. So that is really the one that's where the soul is speaking and the spirit speaking as to what we really need. And so that is the one who can observe. The spirit is what can observe you thinking, and tapping into what that spirit wants and needs. That's where it is. And I know that the analytical mind is slow to catch up. So intuitive messages or hits, if you will, are the first. It's the first thing that comes in. They're very, 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 very fast. And then you have the analytical mind is sort of slow to the party, so to speak. It takes a lot more time to process. So intuition is the processing in one way of vast amounts of information, hundreds and thousands of little nuances perhaps. And then you have the analytical mind slowly catching up and slowly making decisions. So I like to think of it as that first feeling. And I like the spiritual side of it. And also there's the physical side. So those are the compliments, right? So sweaty palms. Right? So if your palms are sweating, we know about that queasy feeling in the stomach. Or they say, how does it feel in your guts? Do you feel it in your guts? Old adages, right? Old things come down through wisdom traditions. Quaking knees. So that's, again, feeling intuition in the body. Muscle testing. So if you've ever done muscle testing, and we talked about that, if you've ever partaken as a client, and they put different substances in your hands, and then they test the large muscles like the strength of your leg, and as a client, you are not throwing this exercise, and it's a really profound and exciting difference to know how much stronger you are when you have this, herb or substance or medicine in your hand versus another. And also there's the tool of a pendulum, right? So a pendulum,
Right.
an extension of physical intuition.
Right, exactly. And I know when the first time anyone does either one of those, a pendulum or the muscle testing, you're always taken aback because it's like, wait a minute, I'm not fighting against you. My arm's just doing that. Or I seriously am not spinning this around. And so
Yeah.
it's like when you acknowledge intuition, right? When in those instances, there is this huge affirmation, a huge hit, right? That startles you, that turns you upside down to the fact that it's like, oh, I'm not doing this. How is this happening? And it is your body's it's your intuition saying, this is it. I mean, how many women, young girls, are out at night or walking to their car, and I know everybody hears these stories, but they are legit, and you're walking and you're like, you get a feeling and it's like, turn around or move quicker. And that is your body, your intuition letting you know.
Very protective. Intuition's very, very protective. And in those situations where it's a heightened, sense of awareness of what's around you, those are the protective messages that can come in. That's tuition being spot on. And that's that feeling of knowing, right?
Yes, exactly. And learning to trust it, learning how to allow it to speak to you, right? Because we've all been in those situations, or we've walked in, like we've gotten up in the morning and we have an interview, and so we're trying to decide, and we really want to wear this, but we keep being drawn to that, and we ignore that, put this outfit on that we just, I want to do this. And then we go into this interview and we are totally uncomfortable. And we know it's because of what we have on.
Yeah. It's that analytical mind has overthought it and interrupted the natural flow of the intuition, which could have been followed. Yeah, right. We all do it, frequently.
We all do. We all do. And what about, here's one thing that I was thinking about. What about the times when you're driving your car and all of a sudden you get this hit, this feeling, this sense to take a left to go home versus your regular right?
Yeah.
And what do you end up seeing? What do you end up encountering? Or what do you end up missing? Let's say you get home and you find out there was an accident or the road was closed. You couldn't get through. Something you didn't know beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, protective. And then you can have rewards. So we're living in a modern society, and driving to and from work is a part of that ritual. And like you said, just being, what do they call it? Being like maybe spirit led, or led by intuition. It's all an extension of intuition. And what is the reward? So you took a different path. And what did you see? Was it a happy childhood memory that spirit wanted to show you? Was it a house for sale that you would have never known about? Was it a creative idea that just came through, as you were looking around? So there's right. Rewards for following intuition. So if you follow it, look for the why, because the why will show up beautifully. So being awake and sensitive to the reward.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is it's not just protective. It's, there are rewards to it. I'll use an example of myself. After many years of coming to Ireland and being gifted with a grandmother that was born here, I decided to pursue my Irish citizenship. And first time I came here was 2001, and I knew at that point in time I wanted to go. I wanted to be here. And I would start working on pieces, right? Because you have to do birth certificates, all of this stuff. You have to document it all. I work on pieces, and then I just get this sense of just to wait. So I just kept working and working. And then around, I think on my last trip, and I don't remember what year, but probably like 2-3 years ago, I came back, and on the plane trip back, I got this huge sense that I needed to get it done, go home and get it done. So in August, I started. There were 2 really major glitches in my grandmother's documentation. They sailed through smoothly. I got everything done. The day after Thanksgiving, I put it in an envelope. Everybody telling me, oh, Teri, it's going to be 2-3 years, could be even 5, there's, you're just going to have to be patient. And so on the middle of December, before Christmas, I noticed in my account that the money for the processing had been taken out. And then in the end of February, on my actual birthday, I received my birth certificate.
Your Irish birth certificate.
Yeah. It's like, I have a new birth certificate. I'm actually Irish on my birthday. But talk about the reward for listening to my intuition, for having the patience, because yes, there's often that immediate reward from intuition, but there isn't always, right? It's the guide. It's that.
Oh, yes. It's the long game. It's the long arching dreams that you're slowly going for, because you're following that intuition, and watch the universe, watch spirit back you up and get behind you 100%. And then those beautiful synchronicities, starts where you get your new birth certificate on your actual birthday. Those are exactly what everything is in alignment. So it can be this short-term decision, and it can be following your instinct or your intuition all the way into the future, and slowly going, as long as you're going in that direction and you're following that instinct, and it's pure, right? Because it's your intuition, it's very pure, and that's when it lines up behind you every time.
Every single time, even to the point, even for something as choosing a daycare provider or your doctor, right? You choose them, and if you get any sense of, but you go ahead, there's always indications every time you go that this is not the choice you should have made.
Yeah. And so you have the signs start coming in. If you thought, well, you kind of override those a little bit. You're thinking, well, I'm going to still choose this. And then that's when you sit there and go, I knew it. I knew it.
I knew it.
We did.
How many times have we all said that? I knew it. it. Right? And it's like, oh, so as we talk about discernment, right? And we morphed into intuition because, as we talked about, it's an excellent tool. It is discernment. I mean, it's the body's tool that spirit works through, our soul works through, to help us for the long haul.
Yeah, and then we've got the physical, right? So those extensions of intuition, which are physical. The pendulum, being, those are at the crystal shops. I'm sure most people are familiar with those. And that being an extension of intuition, but also there's just the spiritual side of it. So some people will use guides, certainly in the shamanic arts are, really a full-blown development of guide relationships over lifetimes or a lifetime. But a guide or a spirit ally from the other side is maybe an angel or one of your ancestors, a loved one, the animals, and those are with you for a lifetime, or they're with you for some years, and a relationship with them where you're checking in with them and honoring them, so that you can ask, you can ask spirit for signs, or you can ask your guide allies, your spiritual allies, for signs on this day. This is what I need to learn something about this. I need to learn, what do I have to learn? Show me signs. I'm looking for signs now about some of the bigger common psychic questions, can be that way. I would like to find my soulmate. When can I meet? How do I meet this? How do I meet this individual? And start picking up on signs and listening in and responding. And if you ignore them, they'll get louder and bigger, and the signs will get louder and louder and bigger and bigger. And
Right.
so, whoa.
Yeah. You will get hit up the side with a 2x4 if you truly are not listening well. And the nice thing about the guides, right? The intuitive, developing your intuition, and then which takes you to that ability to communicate, right, with your guides, because they're not going to walk in and ring your doorbell and say, okay, let's chat here. Right? They are going to walk in and ring your doorbell in a very symbolic manner, rather than, the postman delivering a letter. They will speak to you symbolically. So the more you develop your intuition and fine tune that ability to discern, even to the point of, is this really my guide speaking? Right? Is this really an angel? I mean, that's discernment. Yeah. Knowing who's in your space. They're there as mentors. And so when you ask the question about my soulmate, you're going to get information that is preparing you to be in this relationship with someone that is moving forward in their path. It's not going to be, the GQ guy. I don't even know if they still have that magazine, but I don't even know, right? It's
not like you're going to get a name. You're going to get, what do I need to know?
Yeah, it's the deeper question.
I was thinking about things too that kind of can interfere with intuition.
Yeah.
And so I think in modern times, I think fatigue is probably one of the biggest. Fatigue and busyness are two big ones that can interfere with intuition. And so it's not, let's say you need to go to the store, it's late at night, you'd really rather not, but you've just got to, go, and you're tired. Well, at minimum, just be aware that your intuition is not fully awake. You might be a little bit down a couple notches. So would a samurai ever go out of the house like that? Would a samurai go into battle like that? No, because it could be risky. So just awareness, around that can be helpful. And then with busyness is like being cluttered, everything around your world, every item in your house, every responsibility that you have going, just like these wheels spinning in your mind, that can interfere some. It's like noise, static noise. Mm-hmm. And so when we're out in nature, when we are walking in the forest or we are on the seashore and all that, that's when those things are not present and those things fall away. And that's when you find your intuition starts to wake up more and more and more. So just a knowing that mental, psychic clutter, physical clutter, all those energy fields could interfere a little bit. So keeping that down to a minimum can help.
Yes, very, very.
Not overnight, but
yeah, it will. And this is, you use the term the long game. We're here for the long game. Everything takes time to develop. But in regards to discernment and how vital it is in just your everyday, along with your spiritual path, intuition is a dynamite tool, and honing it is really, really important in taking you to where you want to go, and on all levels, in your workplace, with your relationships, even with shopping, all of those types of things, because it really, truly knows you the best. Mm-hmm. So much better. Now, go ahead.
It's like when you're not feeling well is a sort of a handy, example, if you will. And this is true with childbirth and a lot of things with the body and all that women go through. right? You know what to do when you're
Yeah.
sick. Like that intuition's awake, the body's talking again. Sleep, eat, drink, don't do those things, do this then, do that then. You know what to do. Just listen in.
Yeah.
Just listen in. And you might need a little quiet to do it, but intuition it's spot on.
It is. It truly is. And not to, I know we've talked about women here, but it's both men and women. Unfortunately, it's not honed. I don't know what would be the right word. It's not. Men are not supposed to have it. It's not.
Well, no, imagine a guy at a barbecue, say backyard barbecue, a grown man say, well, they say, oh, how'd you decide to buy that house? And he says, oh, I followed my intuition.
No, that would.
I'm not going to say it out loud. It's not going to happen.
No, which is really kind of sad because they are as gifted as women are.
Exactly.
It's
yeah. And if you ask a mother, oh, how did you know to pick that school? And she's for your daughter, how did you know to pick that school? And she says, oh, I just followed my intuition. They're like, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No more questions asked. It's an honor. That's honored still.
Yes, and we are really fortunate that it is still honored. And it's a valuable gift, and it's the important piece. And I know we're winding up here, but a really important piece to kind of bring in is your intuition grows as you really get in your body, as you're really consciously aware of being in your body and moving with it and hearing it. I mean, it really truly is. It grows with that. And, it's like, if it ever feels like you're not connected, you're not hearing anything, always check, are you in your body? Are you present to hear? Because it is very much connected to the body, and it can't speak to you if you're not in it, if you're not grounded down into it.
Yeah. I was about to say, and being in your body is akin to being grounded.
Yeah.
And then there's so many ways to ground. Right. And if you're into it, you really feel your intuition off, that's right away, start grounding. Yeah. And that's, you can imagine the roots, your feet are roots and they're growing into the earth. There's so many ways to do this, just feeling your space here on the earth and your place here. Mm-hmm. And then because the more grounded you are, the higher up you can reach intuitively and break it all down. It's like a tree that we just bring all that information in.
Yeah. Great analogy. So as we're winding up, because my goal here is to try and keep these not so long-winded. Is there anything you'd like to add, or how would you like to wrap up this whole discussion of intuition and discernment? What's your feeling, Sam?
I would love to see young women trusting themselves and their own knowing and their own decision making, because that is intuition coming through, and less listening to the voices, which are often naysayers, often doubters, and really releasing themselves to be who they are and have all of their dreams can come true. All of our dreams can come true, regardless of age, but specifically wanting to embrace young women coming up. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You've got it.
Yep. I will second that. I will agree with you. So Sam, thank you as always.
Thanks, Teri.
We always have great conversations. And if anyone would like to get a little more, get in contact with you, where can they reach you?
Well, my website for individual shamanic work on a one-on-one basis is returntoyou.info.
Okay, excellent. So we will make sure, everyone, that that information is there written out for you so that you've got it. And again, Sam, thank you very much. And everyone, if you want to hear more, just subscribe down below. Thank you. Much love, Sam.